Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Andrew Rochford. I'm here to help you prepare your child for schoolies. They want to celebrate, you want them to stay safe. They're excited, and chances are you're feeling a little nervous. That's completely normal. Whether they're heading overseas, interstate, or even just to the local caravan park. So here are some practical tips and conversation starters to help you talk with your teen that will help them stay safe, make smart choices, and enjoy themselves. Let's talk alcohol. For most of the teens heading to schoolies celebrations, this will be the first time they're away without their parents. It also means they might be thinking about drinking. Schoolies had a reputation for drinking, but this has changed a lot in recent years. This generation has a more mature attitude when it comes to alcohol. Now, schoolies is less about drinking and sitting in your hotel room feeling hungover, and more about creating experiences and memories. The first tip is don't ignore that alcohol will be around and talk to them about the importance of moderation if they are choosing to drink, and how to moderate. Have a drink of water before having an alcoholic drink. Alternate between alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. Set limits and stick to them. Avoid drinking in rounds or drinking games where others might try to set the pace of the drinking. Slow down the drinking. On average, it takes an hour to metabolize one standard drink. Try drinks with lower alcohol content. Look out for their mates and encourage them to slow down if they've had too much. Have something to eat while or before you have an alcoholic drink. And for when your teen asks why they should moderate their drinking, in short, binge drinking is what happens when you don't moderate, and it has a greater risk of impaired memory. They'll want to remember these times with their friends. Disorientation and loss of balance. The online likes from trying to balance or jump from a height isn't worth a hospital stay or permanent impairment. Injury. They're not invincible. Swimming, driving, trying to do the latest TikTok trick after drinking is not a good idea. Neither is getting on an e-bike or e-scooter. Basically anything with an E before its name. Vomiting. The social media profile they've spent years curating can be destroyed with one drunk pic online. Remind them the internet remembers, so that pic could be the thing a potential future employer sees. Reduced ability to make good judgments. They won't head out to breakfast without their friends, so it's important they don't leave a pub or club with someone they don't know. Risk of alcohol poisoning. Too much can be life-threatening. Let them know that with moderation and their common sense and maturity, they can avoid most of these things relatively easily. There are other risks that they should know about, and these are especially dangerous if your child is traveling to somewhere new that they've never been before and away from your safety net. But there are steps they can take to reduce the risks. Drink spiking is when alcohol or illicit drugs is added to a drink without consent. To help avoid having their drink spiked, advise them to get their own drinks. Watch the bartender pour it start to finish. Say no to drinks from strangers. It's not being rude to refuse, it's being smart. They don't know if someone has added something to it. Watch their drink and those of their friends. Never let their drink out of their sight. Keep it covered. Don't give someone a chance to tamper with it while they're not looking. Don't be a spiker. Make sure they know that adding alcohol to a friend's drink without asking isn't generous or funny. Never give someone alcohol without their consent. Know the symptoms of drink spiking. The drugs used in drink spiking can make people feel disorientated, weak, and easily influenced or extremely drunk, even if they've only had a drink or two. Also, watch out for feeling drowsy or confused, slurred speech, loss of balance or difficulty walking, hallucinations, loss of inhibitions, memory loss and blackout, nausea and vomiting, seizures or a loss of consciousness. If your child is heading overseas for schoolies or in the future, methanol poisoning is a serious risk to be aware of. Methanol can be added deliberately and illegally as a cheap means to increase the alcohol content of drinks, or it can be created accidentally due to poor production methods, as it is a colourless liquid that smells and tastes similar to alcohol in beverages, but is highly toxic. As little as one shot can be fatal. Australians have died or become seriously ill from methanol poisoning overseas. They may not be able to eliminate the risk of methanol poisoning, but they can help reduce it. Be suspicious of unusually cheap or discounted drinks claiming to be brand name alcohol. Avoid drinking from unlabelled bottles or consume free complimentary shots. It might seem like they are saving a few dollars, but they could be putting themselves at risk. Encourage them to drink at reputable places. Choose known brands of beers, ciders, wines, and pre-mixed cocktails in sealed bottles and cans. Be wary of consuming spirits and liqueur-based drinks such as cocktails on the rocks, buckets, and shots. Symptoms of methanol poisoning can be similar to a bad hangover. However, they're usually stronger. Symptoms can take 12 to 24 hours to show and include feeling tired, dizzy, blindness, blurred vision, sensitivity to light, breathlessness, nausea, and/or abdominal pain. A hangover that's worse than it should be or gets worse over time is a warning sign. It is really important that they don't try to sleep it off. They need to get urgent help and act quickly if they suspect methanol poisoning. Urgent medical care could save their life or prevent permanent disability.
Bianca and Holly were so excited about travelling overseas together. When Bianca first raised it with Mark and I, we were a little cautious, but also knew that travelling overseas with Holly was something that they had wanted to do, and we were confident about them travelling together.
And Sean and I felt exactly the same way. The chance to travel with a friend can be so rewarding, and we wanted them to have that experience. They were smart and they knew how to look after themselves.
Which is why it's so devastating that something outside of their control ended their lives. They were out having fun, having some drinks. They had done that in Australia without any issue. But this time it was overseas and it was different.
The drinks that they had on this occasion contained methanol. They didn't know it, but they were poisoned. They were found unresponsive, rushed to hospital, but couldn't be saved. You've just heard about the things to watch out for regarding methanol poisoning, and we're here to tell you that it is not just advice, it's potentially life-saving advice.
Let your son or daughter know that if something feels wrong or a friend looks unwell, don't ignore it. Act quickly. It could make the difference. Let them know that they can always and should always call if they find themselves in a risky situation.
We know how much this Schoolies adventure means to your kids because we remember how much the trip meant to our girls. So if they're traveling overseas, this is a message for right now. Even if they're staying local for Schoolies, many of them will travel overseas in the coming years. And this is a conversation that could save their lives.
We don't want you to go through what we've gone through. Nothing will ever bring back Bianca and Holly. But if knowing what happened to them can help your kids make safe choices, then something can come from our loss. Your kids are going to celebrate, but help them make smart decisions so they come home safe.
There are also a few additional tips for when they're travelling overseas. Firstly, if they are involved in an accident or injured and alcohol or drugs are involved, they or you may have to pay the cost of property damage or medical bills. It is also critical they pay attention to their surroundings, getting to and from locations they're unfamiliar with and know where their accommodation is. It's important they have a plan to get back there too. Before they go to Schoolies, help them get important information onto their phones. It could save their life. We all know it's 000 in Australia, but did you know it's 112 in Indonesia or 911 in the US? Prepare them for what to do if something goes wrong and they need help. And if they have exhausted all other options, to call the Australian Consulate Services for assistance. Importantly, they should feel comfortable calling you, day or night. Tell them to give your number to their friends so you can be contacted in an emergency, even if other parents or carers can't be reached. If your teen is travelling overseas, Smartraveller.gov.au has some great resources, including travel advice for over 175 destinations. It also is a great idea to sign up for travel warnings, which send email alerts in the event something changes overseas. Remind them that no matter where they go, they should look after their friends. Set some ground rules before the night kicks off. No one goes off solo, no one gets left behind. Check in with each other, especially if someone seems out of it or upset. Make sure they have each other's phone numbers or are on a group chat. If they get separated or decide to split up, have a set time and place to meet later. If someone doesn't show, search for them. Don't just assume they're okay. Make sure everyone has the name, number, and address of where they are staying and knows safe transport options. Tell them the importance of checking in on their mates or calling out dodgy situations. They don't have to be the parent of the group, but everyone in their friendship group should be looking out for one another. Let them know not to feel pressured to do something they're not cool with, whether it's more drinks, something sketchy, or going somewhere unsafe. It's okay to say no. Others might be thinking that it's okay to do something because no one is speaking up. One person saying no can give others the strength to say no too. Remind them that real friends won't push them into doing something they don't want to do. The end of school is a time to celebrate. We just want to help ensure they have a great and safe experience. All right, that's it from me, but tell them you love them and that staying safe means staying smart. It'll make sure this Schoolies adventure is something they'll remember for all the right reasons.